A lot of veterans think that the VA loan is just for one thing: buy a house, move in, the end. That's not even close to the full story. The truth is, the VA loan is a lot more flexible than most people even realize, and if you only understand one way to use it, you may be leaving a lot on the table. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 different ways to use the VA loan, including a few that most buyers never hear until it's way too late. If we haven't met yet, my name is William Ware, the Loan Caddy. I'm a GWA veteran, currently still serving in the Reserve, and a mortgage broker who's spent the last few years specializing in VA loans. And this video is part of my VA Loan Masterclass series, where I'm breaking down the VA loan in plain English so you can understand how it actually works in the real world. In the last video, we covered the 5 factors that limit how much you can borrow. Now let's talk about something that's just as important. What can you actually do with this benefit? So let's get into it. So let's start with the most obvious one. The most common way to use a VA loan is to buy a primary residence, oftentimes with no down payment. That's the part that most people have heard about. You find a home, you qualify, and you use your VA benefit to buy the home as your primary residence. That means the home is supposed to be the place that you actually live in, not your vacation home, not your random investment property that you never plan to occupy, and not the house that your cousin lives in while you technically own it. The VA loan is designed for owner-occupied primary residence. That's the lane. Now, the reason this is such a big deal is simple. For a lot of veterans, the ability to buy with little or no down payment can dramatically shorten their timeline to home ownership. Instead of waiting years to stack up a giant down payment, they may be able to buy much sooner. That does not mean that they should buy recklessly. It means that the benefit can remove one of the biggest barriers to entry. So yes, use number 1 is the classic one: buying your primary residence with little to no down payment. But that's just the beginning of all the ways that this benefit could be leveraged. The second way to use the VA loan is the one that most people picture automatically: buying a standard single-family home. This could be a typical detached house, a suburban home, a starter home, a move-up home, or just the place that fits your budget and goals at the time. This is the most straightforward scenario. You find a home that meets the VA guidelines, you intend to live in it as your primary residence, and you move forward. There's not a lot of drama here. This is the bread and butter VA loan use case, but even here it's worth saying something important. Just because it's a house doesn't automatically mean it works. The property still has to meet lender and VA requirements, and later in this series we're going to talk more about things like property standards, appraisals, and what can trip up a deal. But for now, just understand that the VA loan is absolutely built for the standard home purchase most buyers think of first. So if someone says, "Can I use the VA loan to buy a regular house to live in?" Yes, this is the most normal use of the benefit. Now, let's move into a use that surprises most people. You may be able to use the VA loan benefit to buy a condo. That's good news for buyers in areas where condos are more affordable than detached homes, or where condos are just more common. But this is the part that is most important here. Not every condo is going to automatically be eligible. The condo project typically needs to meet VA requirements. That's where some buyers run into confusion. They just assume that if I qualify for the loan, I can use it on any condo I want, and that's not necessarily true. The borrower can be fine. The unit can look fine, but the overall condo project itself still may not work. That's why condos can feel simple at first and then suddenly become a paperwork scavenger hunt. So yes, condos can absolutely be a valid use of the VA loan, but it's one of those situations where you want to check early, not after you're emotionally attached and already measuring furniture. That's the move. And then use number 4 is one of the most underappreciated ways to utilize the VA loan. You may be able to buy a multi-unit property like a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex, as long as you live in one of the units as your primary residence. This is where some people's eyes light up, because now the VA loan starts sounding less like just buy a house and more like a tool. And that's exactly the point. If the property fits the guidelines and you occupy one of the units, this can be a powerful way to get into a property where rental income from other units may help offset your housing costs. Now, this does not mean free money. Does not mean landlord life is effortless, and it definitely does not mean that every multi-unit property is automatically a perfect strategy. But it does mean that the VA loan can sometimes be used in a way that helps a veteran step into homeownership and a more wealth-building mindset at the same time. That's why this use case matters. A lot of veterans never hear about it, or they hear about it way too late. They just assume that the VA loan only works for a normal single-family setup, and that's not true at all. If you're living in one of the units, a multi-unit property may absolutely be a part of the conversation. Another thing people get wrong all the time is that they think the VA loan is a one-shot benefit. Use it once and it's gone forever. That's not how it works. In many cases, the VA loan can be used again. Now, whether that is simple or complicated depends on the situation. Some veterans sell the original home and restore their entitlement. Some keep that home and buy later again with their remaining entitlement, depending on how the numbers work out. And some refinance, move, or restructure their loans over time. The details matter. But the big idea is this: the VA loan is not usually a one and done benefit. That matters because people's lives change. You may buy at a duty station, move later, outgrow the property, relocate after service, or need a different type of home down the road. So one of the valuable uses of the VA loan is not just buying now, it's understanding that the benefit may still play a role later on. This is why I tell people not to think of the VA loan like a coupon you panic use once. Think of it like a benefit you need to understand strategically, because when you use it wisely, it can help you more than once over the course of your life. The sixth way to use the VA loan is through refinancing. A lot of people only think about the VA loan as a purchase loan, but it can also be used to refinance an existing mortgage in certain situations. For example, let's say a veteran wants to lower their rate, reduce their monthly payment, change their loan structure, or move from one type of financing into VA financing if they're eligible. This opens up a whole nother layer of flexibility, because sometimes the smartest use of the benefit is not buying a new property. Sometimes it's about improving the loan on the property that you already have. Now, refinance rules can get more specific, and there are different refinance paths, which we'll cover later on in the series. But for now, the takeaway is simple. The VA loan is not only for buying. It can also be used to refinance, and that matters because life changes, rates change, and goals change. The benefit can adapt with you over the time period that it's effective for. And the seventh use is one that a lot of buyers and homeowners overlook: VA loan assumptions. In certain cases, a future buyer may be able to assume an existing VA loan. That means instead of getting a brand new loan from scratch, they may be able to step into the seller's existing mortgage terms, subject to approval and the rules involved. Now, why does that matter? Because in the right rate environment, an assumable loan can be a very attractive feature. If a seller has a lower interest rate than what the current market rates are, that existing loan may be extremely valuable to a future buyer. That can make the home more attractive, it can create opportunity, and it's one more example of how the VA loan has more flexibility than most people realize. Again, assumptions are their own topic, and there are a lot of details that matter. But for this video, I want you to understand the bigger point. The VA loan doesn't just help you buy, it can also create options later when you sell. That's a much bigger picture than most people are told. Now, before somebody jumps into the comments with, "So I can use this to buy a beach condo as a vacation rental and a cabin in the mountains and an investment property I never plan to live in." No, let's clean that up. The VA loan is generally used for primary residences only. So in general, this is not going to be the correct loan if you're looking for vacation homes you're not going to occupy, pure investment properties, house flipping with no intent to live there, or random real estate side quests that have nothing to do with the owner occupancy. That distinction matters because the VA loan is an earned housing benefit meant to support eligible borrowers in buying, owning, or improving a primary home. That's the center of gravity. Could there be strategies around multi-unit properties, future moves, reuse, refinances, or assumptions? 100%, but the foundation is still the same. Primary residence first. If somebody skips that part, they usually end up confused, or worse, confidently wrong on the internet. And the internet has enough of that already. So now let's make this practical. Example number one is a first-time buyer using zero down. A veteran wants to stop renting and buy their first home. They find a single family property, they plan to live in it full time, and they want to use the VA loan with no down payment. That's the most classic use case we see. But example number 2 is a buyer in a high cost area looking at condos. A veteran lives in a market where detached homes are expensive, but condos may be more realistical. The VA loan may still be an option, but the condo project needs to work, and that's why checking early matters. And example number 3 is a veteran buying a duplex. A buyer wants to live in one side of the duplex and rent the other. That can be a very smart way to use the benefit if the property and file support it. Example number 4, veterans who bought before and need to buy again. A veteran used the VA loan years ago, moved, and wants to buy another primary residence. It doesn't automatically mean that the benefit's gone. The next step is understanding entitlement and the specific scenario. And example number 5, veterans refinancing. A homeowner already has a mortgage and wants to improve the structure of the loan. These examples all look different, and that's the point. The VA loan is not one-dimensional, it's like your multi-tool. Now, here are a few of the most common mistakes that I see around this topic. Mistake number 1, thinking that the VA loan is only for first-time buyers. Nope. A lot of first-time buyers use it, but that is not the only group it serves. Mistake number 2 is thinking it can only be used once. Again, not true. A lot depends on the scenario, but many veterans can use the benefit again and again. Mistake number 3, thinking any property type works automatically. Not every condo works, not every property works, and not every deal structure works. Mistake number 4 is assuming investment-only use is fine. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings. The VA loan is centered around primary occupancy. And mistake number 5, waiting too long to ask questions. A lot of people don't learn about condos, multi-units, reuse, or assumptions until they're already deep in the deal. That's a bad time to discover a new rule. So learn early, ask early, and avoid drama later. So let's bring it all together. The VA loan can be used in more than ways than people tend to realize. In this video, we covered 7 different ways to use it. Buying a primary residence with 0 down, buying a single family home, buying a condo that meets the VA rule, buying a multi-unit property and living in one, using the VA loan, financing an existing home, and allowing a future buyer to assume the loan. That's a much broader tool set than just buy a house once. In the next video, we're going to be covering 4 different ways to get your VA loan approved, because this is where a lot of buyers get stuck. Not because they aren't eligible, but because they don't understand how approval actually comes together. So we'll fix that next. If this video helped you, drop a comment below and tell me this. Which of the 7 uses surprised you the most? And if you know another veteran who thinks that the VA loan only works one way, send them this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want the full VA Loan Masterclass series. And if you need help with your own situation, click the links below. I'll see you on the next hole.